Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Moore, I am playing Jeskai Lurrus Control in Vintage. Lurrus is, of course, an extremely insane Magic card, completely busted, as printed. It was errated, the entire companion mechanic. You used to be able to just cast these straight from exile. Now you have to pay 3 to put them in your hand first. And even with that errata, it's banned in every format except this one. Lurrus specifically. You could play some companions, but Lurrus is banned in every format except for Vintage, where it was banned, actually banned first out of all the formats that banned it before the errata. It was the only power level ban in the history of the Vintage format. Normally, the mentality with managing Vintage is these cards are busted. We know they're busted. That's the point. But you can only play one of the best ones. Restricting Lurrus didn't mean anything because you only played one anyway, and it was always in your opening hand effectively as your companion. The only solution to this specific confluence of problems was to ban the card. Then a couple months later, after the entire mechanic got, the entire mechanic got errated, they decided to give Lurrus a chance in Vintage, unbanned him, or her, unbanned Lurrus, this Magic card. I think it's a she, but I can't verify that. Unbanned Lurrus, and it's now available in the format. You can play it as your companion under the current companion rules, or you can just jam up to 4 of them in your main deck, which some people do instead of doing the companion thing. Vintage is, of course, a format full of cheaply costed, insane cards throughout Magic's history, and busted spells that Lurrus doesn't care about because it only counts permanents. The important things you don't get in a Lurrus deck are Planeswalkers, Narset, and Dak near the top of the list. You can't Tinker effectively in a Lurrus deck. You can cast the spell Tinker, but you can't tutor anything that costs more than 2, which is less than Tinker costs, so you'd be tinkering at mana negative, which is not the point of Tinker. You don't get Bolas' Citadel, you don't get Sphinx of the Steel Wind, etc. You could go Vault Key, but that's a lot to just play Tinker for. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing people have tried. But this build's not doing any of that. We have some of the most efficient creatures in Magic's history. 2 of the 3 creatures that this deck plays are banned in Legacy. We've got Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer, and Dreadhorde Arcanist as the core creature spread in this deck. And the brand new Third Path Iconoclast fits right in here. We'll upgrade on Young Pyromancer. It's the Monastery Mentor variant that we can play because it costs 2 instead of 3. And on top of that, just tons of cantrips and counterspells, cheap interaction, Ancestral Recall, Brainstorm, Ponder, 4x Preordain. If a Vintage deck has 4 Preordain in it, I'm probably interested. That's my kind of cantripping, and all the other cantrips are restricted. 4 Preordain, we're going all the way in on this one. Time Walk, Merchant Scroll, which is mostly to get Ancestral Recall, and then at your top end, 6 Forces to keep stuff from happening to you. Give your creatures time to work, and then the busted Delve spells, also both banned in Legacy. Good stuff. This is an extremely fair deck by Vintage standards. There is nothing that's going to happen that'll just end a game out of nowhere. There's no Time Vault, Voltaic Key, there's no Tinker, there's no Paradoxical Outcome. We really are just attacking for 20 with this deck, and accruing value while we do it, and protecting the creatures. The sideboard, it's a bunch of stuff for Dredge, Tabernacles, Wastelands, Tormod Scripts, then a bunch of stuff for shops. We got a couple of Shattering Sprees. This is actually later against shops than I would expect. We must have just a solid main deck. I will admit I don't know a ton about this particular archetype or this construction of the deck. More just asked me to play the vintage Lurrus or the vintage Jeskai Lurrus deck that I think is best, and not having any particular opinions because I haven't really worked on the deck. I just grabbed one that won the vintage challenge last week. And this one's pretty light on chops. There's 2 Shattering Sprees and another Force of Negation. And 4 Swords to Plowshares in the main makes a lot of sense. You'd bring in Lightning Bolt against chops. So yeah, I guess this deck doesn't need like Hurkyl's Recall or Energy Flux or anything like that. Just playing a much more fair game than that. And then we got Pyroblasts and Flusterstorms for the blue mirrors. And that's the vintage format. You got blue, you got Bazaar, you got chops. Those are the 3 things you can do, and we are set up against all of them. Let's go try this out. I'm on the play in round 1. I've revealed my Lurrus. I'm going to keep this hand. There's no interaction. If they go busted here, I'm in trouble. But Ragavan backed by Wasteland is a self-contained plan. If they don't just break me on turn 1, I'm actually in good shape. And I do get to take a peek with Cataxian Probe and know what they're up to. Let's take that look. What do you got for me? We've got, oh baby, Ancestral Recall, 2 Okos, and Force of Will. If they want to force my Ragavan, it's going to cost them their, oh no, they have 2 Okos. I just said that. I was about to say it's going to cost them their Ancestral, but that's not even true. Okay, Ragavan, get in there. See if this is worth a force to you. Okay, a lot of respect, or a lot of disrespect. And I drew a 3rd Wasteland. My goal is for my opponent to not play this game at all. Let's see if that works. This Life from the Loam in their hand is slightly distressing. It's firing off the Ancestral now. Good call before I untap into Pyroblast. But if you don't do anything, you're going to have to go to discard. Cool. They're going to discard 2. Discarded Loam and Wasteland. Right. Oh, my very own. I'm going to start with a Ragavan connection, though. Papia. And I got Force of Negation, which doesn't help me here. I would like to Wasteland my opponent, though. Here's the plan that I was trying to execute. Just make him dead. And I'm going to Preordain. Save this Ancestral. I know they have Force. Ooh, Dreadhorde Arcanist, I want that. Top. Bobble. Let me see what you're working with. On the land. It's disappointing. Okay. I will pass. There's that Misty Rainforest that we knew about. I'm not going to play my land until after combat. In for 2. Drag triggers. Give me something good. Exile to Savannah. I hope they needed that. And I'll play Wasteland and Dreadhorde Arcanist. If they force Dreadhorde, that's 2 cards down, and then my Ancestral can roll. Force pitching Oko just happened. And I'm going to Ancestral in response. Try to find some interaction here. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Will. Okay. They were pretty rolled up over there. Okay. They're down to 3 cards in hand. It's Oko, Dark Confidant, and a mystery card. Please don't dredge and cast Loam this turn. That's all I need from you. And Force of Negation specifically on the Ancestrals of Beating. Oh, they dredged Loam. Bummer. That means they're holding a land. Or they have a Mox or something to get the Loam off the ground. They wouldn't dredge Loam with only 1 mana and no way to cast it. Alright, do you want a Dark Confidant or do you want to get Loam off? We know their hand. It's Bob, Oko, Loam. Loam is the correct answer. Picking up your own Wasteland, right? Joke's on them, though. I can double Wasteland here and continue just doing stupid Ragavan things. In for 1. Or 2. In for 1 card and 1 treasure is what I meant. 2 damage. Even in real life, I frequently forget that Ragavan deals damage. I'm just like, yeah, I'll flip a card. Blue, colorless. I'm going to Time Walk. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can Wasteland and then Treasure Cruise. Wasteland your Bayou. Then play Treasure Cruise. Cruise your daddy. And they're out of here. Okay. Just a little turn 1 Ragavan coast to coast. And we're playing against a bug Loam deck. I don't know if they're a Loam deck, but a bug deck that has Life from the Loam in it. Flusterstorm, Lightning Bolt, I'm interested in. They probably have Deathrite Shaman. Saw Okos, Pyroblasts. I have some amount of interest in the Fourth Wasteland. Fourth Wasteland kind of risky against Loam, but I do have a bunch of Force of Negations in my deck. It's determining what the right cuts are here. I could not bring in the extra Wasteland. Turn some of my forces into Pyroblasts. Or I already have the Bolt and the Flusterstorm in here. And we're pretty heavily pre-boarded for this matchup. There's just a little bit on the fringes that you could add or subtract. Going down to 0 force in Vintage is bold, but I don't think I hate it. I have a lot of ways to play to the board here. I don't think I want Dismember on top of Bolt and Plow. I have the Force of Negations. I think that's being silly. I don't know how many Loams they play. Wasteland's only part of my plan. I'm going to bring 2 Force of Wills back in just because it can hit creatures and planeswalkers and operate on my own turn and all these important things. Maybe Flusterstorm is bad, and I'm just not respecting the Vintage card pool enough. Okay, 3 Force of Wills in. And this is my plan. Reveal my Lurrus, and I have a super busted opening hand. Do it. Okay, what do you got for me? Deathrite Shaman time. Oh. Mox could be anything. Dark Confidant? Sure. Got a Dark Confidant. Oh, Black Lotus. I've heard that one is good. I'm gonna bobble my opponent. Get some information. They have Savannah on top. And then I'll play a land. I think I'm gonna lead on Ragavan and see if they want to interact with that. If they Force of Will this, they're gonna be in a world of hurt. Black Lotus, make it happen. Blue, 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 lead on Time Walk. Because that might be scary enough to... Alright, now they're just F6'd. And Ancestral Recall. Sometimes you just have 3 pieces of Power 9 in your opening hand. I'll go to my next turn. And draw a card. All 3 rags are accounted for. It's not really how I wanted to play this game, but it's not that bad. I will offer the trade. And they didn't take it. Didn't think they could. And that Savannah's gone now. Did know about that one. I can preordain first and then scroll for Force of Will if I want to. I'm going to just preordain, see if I come up with anything better than that. All my hand does is draw cards. I think I'm going to bottom both of these. Just not in effect. I'm in the market for currently. Oh, do like that. Now the options are scroll for Force or get Dreadhorde Arcanist in. And try to make something happen there. I'm going for Arcanist. That card is so messed up. And I have Ancestral Recall in my graveyard. Okay, Bob, what do you got? Bob flipped Underground Sea. I'd rather them have the Underground Sea than the Savannah. Yeah, they're just done. I'm not sure what they're doing with the white mana, but they already have both black and blue, so Underground Sea doesn't really change anything. The Savannah might have turned on white removal or something. But yeah, there's that. busted Magic. On to the next round. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. On the play for round 2, and we're playing against turn 1 Glistener Elf is their username. I hope that's true. I'm going to keep. I have turn 1 Arcanist that I can protect. I am not really doing anything with it yet, but this start is still pretty bonkers. The messed up thing about Dreadhorde Arcanist, if you didn't play Legacy when this was legal, is that it's not like Snapcaster Mage or similar looking cards where you need to invest the spell up front. I could draw a cantrip at any point during this game and just immediately draw multiple cards off Dreadhorde Arcanist. Opponent's on 5. I'm smelling some bizarre related activities. And send the turn. They just drew a card and passed. What deck would do that? That's weird. I don't like this. I'm gonna attack with my Arcanist. No target this turn, but I can Merchant Scroll for Ancestral and set up the completely nutty next turn. I'm leaving up Swords to Plowshares because I have the white to do that. How about Ancestral Recall? It's a good blue instant. Okay, we got Dreadhorde last turn. Is this some sort of storm deck? Like Dark Petition Storm? Who would do this? It's very strange. Okay, an Ancestral pre-combat, of course, because my plan is to cast this multiple times this turn. And the great thing about Dreadhorde Arcanist is even if this gets countered, I can just replay it immediately. Mental Misstep. This is worth 2 cards to fight over, because it's worth 6 cards to resolve. Alright, we got there on that one. And I will attack. And I'd like to cast an instant or sorcery from my graveyard. Or instant? No, it is instant or sorcery. Yep, this card's messed up. Okay. This did not really change my hand materially. I can play this Misty Rainforest, Mox Ruby, and deploy Dreadhorde number 2 while leaving up Swords to Plowshares. They were very smart not to play any lands this game because I've drawn 3 strip mine effects. I'm getting nervous. What the hell is going on? No cantrips at all to go with these Arcanists. We're just attacking for 2. I wish I could combine their power and cast Merchant Scroll, but that's not how this card works. Okay, Lurrus, get in my hand. Do I want to play Lurrus this turn? Probably not. Yes. I can plow twice if that becomes a thing I need to do. I'm trying to figure out what my opponent's doing. Was this like dredge the whole time and they just stopped for some reason? And they're about to go to discard? Am I going to get stormed out? That was a pretty bad draw 6. Okay, they are passing the turn. We're about to find out what's going on over there. Undercity Informer. Oh, your oops all spells with just nothing going for you. All right. I'm going to fetch at the start of the turn, get some more white mana, and all right, cool. EI gets me off the ground. Blue-red. Let's get something going here. Yeah, that counts. Okay. I'm walking my hand, plow on the bottom, exile Ragavan, and I can fetch a red source and dash Ragavan. Dash my guy here. I'm going to do all of this first and then time walk later. Hit you with Rag. Act of Negation in exile. That's funny because I can actually cast and pay for that if I want to. Blue colorless time walk. And let's go to my extra turn. Ragavan bounces. How about a cantrip? Okay. Counts. That's worth some cards, and I get to see what they're up to. They're up to Wall Therapy, Dark Ritual. Yeah, they're 1 mana short of going off here with Force backup. A little bit scary. I'm going to dash my Ragavan. I did find a Force of Will. And attack with all my creatures, recast Cataxian Probe. I'm going to look at my own hand this time, just for good measure. Opponent goes to 6, and Goblin Charbelcher. I briefly considered casting that. How many lands are in my deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of my lands are accounted for. I only play 17. I mean, I could fetch and make it 11 lands accounted for. 6 lands in my whole deck. They said in the chat, don't be accounted and cast it already. Yeah, I mean, what am I doing otherwise? Alice Raid Spy beats me anyway. They have Force backup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have a blue card to back up my Force of Will. All right, I will cast the Belcher. 1, 2, 3, 4. Belcher's on the stack. Okay, we're in there. I have some options here, which are I'm going to go to my end step, pick up Ragavan, and we'll pass the turn discarding Strip Mine. Oh, I had 7 cards in hand. My hand always looks so big. I might not have to do anything, but I do have the option to zap. Okay, yeah, they just never got to 4 mana. That was close. They actually really did have it there with 1 more mana. Okay, Oops All Spells is the name of the game. They are a graveyard combo deck. They do have blue interaction for my Pyroblasts. Force of Negation and Flusterstorm don't counter the main payoff, but they can beat up the mana to get there, which, as we saw that game, could be everything. Swords to Plowshare is not great. Wasteland, also not great. I can't cut too many lands because I do need to cast my Dreadhorde Arcanist, but Wasteland is not good here. Yeah, I'm going to cut another Wasteland, and Mishra's Bauble, not really where I want to be either. I think that's cool with Iconoclast. Actually, I think Bauble is worse than Wasteland, just as far as casting spells, dashing Ragavan, etc. And here's my deck. Let's do it. Slightly concerning here. I do have pretty solid turn 1 potential, but I'm on the draw. I guess I'll keep on the strength of Mental Misstep. I can hit Dark Ritual, which is the second best mana accelerator in the deck after Black Lotus. And if they spend a turn therapying me, I get to poke it. Could also just lose here. Could always just lose. It's always live. Yep, 6. Already doing better than last game. Here's Agadeem. Here's Dark Ritual. Here's my Misstep. How'd we do? Okay, Dark Ritual's in the graveyard. You're saying there's a chance. I am going to cast Mox Ruby and play Ragavan. And I'm going to hold up Pyroblast. Does that matter? I don't even know. But looking at my own card is more important than looking at theirs. Mystical Tutor on top of my deck. That one is pretty good. Alright, I'll keep that Mystical Tutor. Pyroblast doesn't stop any of their proactive stuff, it just stops their reactive stuff. So if they have a second wave ready to go here, good chance I'm in trouble. Mox Sapphire. Ooh, cast a blue spell. Oh man. It's 3 mana. Undercity Informer is on the stack. It's now in play. You have 1 extra mana laying around to activate it. You got me. Okay, I boarded out all my plows. Ah, shit. It's like they had it the whole time. Yep, okay. Alright, well, I'll look at their deck at least, and then lose. Okay, we've got... Just checking for anything unexpected. Got Belchers, Horses and Packs, Red Return for the Thassa's Oracle. There is Thassa's Oracle, confirmed it's in there. Ancillary Annex, that's annoying. That's a 1 of, okay. Alright, yeah, I'm dead. Okay. Yeah, they didn't give me time. That Mystical Tutor was gonna get something going with Ragavan's help, but, you know, sometimes I don't have time. I think my deck stays the same here. Them putting that naked Balustrade Spy or Undercity Informer into play was kind of awkward. Like, that made me kind of wish I had a removal spell in the deck, but that seemed mostly like a lie anyway. Yeah, I'm just going in with the same deck. Okay, Force of Negation with a blue card this time. I will keep. Just have to decide if I'd rather cast Ponder or Preordain, and I believe it's Ponder. Just sees more cards, more looks at Tormod Script. If I could have Tormod Script in play and Force in my hand with Arcanist on turn 2, that's a game plan. Yeah, I'm gonna Volcanic Island Ponder. Opponent's on 6 this time. On Tormod Script. Don't want these cards at all, actually. My 3rd Arcanist, a Pyroblast that may or may not help. Motobug shuffled up the 3rd Arcanist. Check the tape. Was that the top card I put back? Did it actually not shuffle? Okay. Don't think that's the Force of Negation. Dark Ritual. This might be the Force of Negation. I'll pick my spot somewhere. Because the next thing they play might be a creature. Uh-oh. Well, I might be dead. They had Force with Narcomoeba. They just need 1 more mana source to make this happen. Or... oh god, and me with no outs to this. I can't kill a Chrome Mox, I can't kill an Undercity Informer. Strip Mine doesn't work here. Yeah, I'm dead. And nothing I can do about it. GG. Yep, they slid that one through on me with the Force backup. This deck is scary because Jeskai's whole thing is it grinds better than anyone, but this deck doesn't want to grind. It just tests your opening 7 immediately. And Ponder failed, Force wasn't enough, and in they go. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder, you know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there. I chose to play first in round 3, and I thought I was clicking to reveal my companion, but I actually kept my hand. Luckily, it does have turn 1 Ragavan with force backup, so we're not completely in the toilet, but this was not kept on purpose. It's all good, though. I'm going to Mishra's Bauble, get a feel for what my opponent's up to. They're up to Seat of the Synod. Okay. Wasteland, Mox Ruby. And I think I should dash the Rag. Just deeply concerned about keeping a hand with no colored mana sources. Or no blue mana source, at least. Oh, right. Why the fuck would I attack after using Mishra's Bauble? Just didn't want that information, actually. Keep it. Keep your secrets, Gandalf. Okay. I'm going to shake off the misclick and the misplay here and tighten up. I no longer know anything about what they're doing. I know it contains Seat of the Synod, and I hope they needed that card. I kept Preordain in my hand rather than cast it off the treasure, because I want a blue card just in case. Drew another Strip Mine. I was about to say mana denial is going to be an important part of this game, but my opponent, not interested, letting me get away with that. This turn 1 Time Walk isn't that scary, though. Okay, this looks like some version of 8-cast. I don't know exactly what vintage 8-cast looks like right now, but with Seat of the Synod, Mishra's Bauble, we can kind of figure out what they're up to. I'm going to Force of Will this card. Okay, that worked. And Seagate with Emery. All right. Well, I have Swords to Plowshares for Emery, and then Wasteland and Strip Mine for their 2 lands. There's no reason to plow now. I can figure it out on my turn. Okay. I'm going to plow the Emery, and then Wasteland and Strip Mine and play Ragavan. This is going to be a scrappy, shitty little game, and I can't wait. There's a Saga. Okay, don't put a creature in front of my Ragavan. They didn't. Good news, everybody. All right, Rag. Let's Preordain into another Wasteland. Found Flusterstorm from them. I think I should use my treasure to Preordain in case I find Wasteland. Yeah, I'm going to swing for the fences here. Brainstorm Treasure Cruise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm going to cruise. I'll keep the Brainstorm, put Cruise on top. 6 cards in my graveyard, 2 mana in play. And cruise your daddy. And pass the turn. Will they have a mana source to make Urza Saga do stuff? That's the question, and the answer was no. Okay. All right, Ragavan backed by multiple Strip Mines. Who knew that that would be good? Shattering Spree and Pyroblast, both solid for the matchup. Wasteland, they're an Urza Saga deck. I do want to tangle with that. Don't think I need Force of Negation against this deck. Mishra's Bauble, I can back off of that too. I do want the Plows. Is Bolt better than Plow? Probably not. It's probably the same in a lot of situations, but the situations where it's different, you're going to really regret it. Like if they have a 4/4 construct, figuring out what my last cut is here. If I get all 5 of these cards in, you just lose another Bauble. Okay, I'll do it this way. Bauble's great with Lurrus and with Expressive Iteration, but then compared to normal Magic cards that I could cast and interact with my opponent, this one I'm going to mulligan. And I'll keep this. Actually looks great. Do I want 2 Plows or Arcanist? Question. I want Arcanist. Arcanist is 2 plows. What am I even saying? Okay. Let's play some Magic on the draw against Acast. Mox Opal, Tolarian Academy. Okay. Time Walk. Yeah, that was a good turn. This seat turns on the Opal. They have roughly infinite mana now, but 2 cards left in hand. Thought Monitor. Okay, here come the cards. A cast. A cast. Back up to 5 cards. And a Crypt. You got it. Oh, hell yeah. We're very dead. Manifold Key. Okay. They do have Time Vault in their setup somewhere here. And I'm getting bobbled already. 2 cards left in their hand, plus the one they draw in my upkeep. I have to... What do I even have to do here? I have to allow Urza. Yeah, I mean, the construct is doing a ton of damage, but Urza is card advantage. I can just try to work my way through this. All right, no, I can't. I'm done. I'm not gonna beat the mental misstep here. All right, we took turns. Not really playing the game. I was convinced that I want my other red elemental blast. And is it third path iconoclast? Gotta cut something here. Maybe it's a plow, because the red blast I brought in, most of their creatures are blue. Okay. I am up multiple removal spells despite boarding 1 out. Alright, this hand, yeah, we keep Ancestral Recalls with Force Backup. We both started with 7. We're gonna have a good game. Or something. I'm gonna pass. See what they do. Black Lotus. There is a reasonable argument to counter that, but I'm not going in on it. 5 mana. There's Urza with a blue floating. I'm gonna force pitching Brainstorm. They've shown me Flusterstorm in their deck. If they fluster... Alright, Mystical Dispute. I'm gonna swing for the fences here and hope that Ancestral gives me a blue card. I don't want to pitch Ancestral Force. Alright, we got there. Force the Urza, pitching Dig Through Time. And this isn't that bad because the Ancestral ended up in the graveyard where Dreadhorde Arcanist can get it. Also, I can just put them to 0 permanence right now with the Shattering Spree. Take a break on Arcanist. That sounds like a reasonable thing to do. Oh, they're just done. They don't even want to see the Shattering Spree. I love vintage players. They're just like, no, I'm done. Don't even need to see the win con. We're done. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in round 4. I have Force Blue card and then turn 1 Dreadhorde Arcanist. Yeah. Opponent's on 6 so far. Stopped at 6. Underground Sea. Preordain. Right, feeling kind of doomsday-ish right now. Bottomed. Love to find another blue card to supplement this force. Okay, easy money. I'm going to play Mox Pearl first. Out of respect for Days, which I guess if I was going to respect Days, I should have played my land first. Anyway, Gitaxian Proview. What do we got? Force of Will, Demonic Consultation, Island, and Necropotence. Okay. Doomsday confirmed. Let's see if they want to spend their Force of Will on this Arcanist. Found another blue card for Force, by the way. Force pitching Force on Arcanist. I can punch this through, but then if they draw... they'd have to draw exactly Dark Ritual or Black Lotus. Get out of here. I'll force back. I'll take the risk. Yeah, this basic island is a killer. They bottom the Preordain. They don't know what they're drawing here. They might just do nothing. Or they might Demonic Tutor for Black Lotus and cast Necropotence. Fucking cool. Yeah, vintage. I could have played around that and chose not to. Yep, Necro's in. Activate hard mode. And we know they're holding the Consult. That's a tough beat. But I'll at least get to look at the hand with Gitaxian Probe. They put 8 cards in their hand. Discarded Street Wraith and Flooded Strand. I'm not going to Mystical pre-combat. I could dash Ragavan. See what they have to say about that. Yeah, I think I will dash Rag. And I'm going to attack with my creatures and cast Gitaxian Probe from the graveyard. They're up to. I wish I could see their hand and then draw the card from Gitaxian Probe, but that's not how any of this works. Okay. There's no interaction over here. There are two gush. There's a gush, which makes my strip mine awkward, but yeah, this doesn't actually do what they want. Wait, 2 demonic consultations? I thought this card was restricted. Oh, it is. I have it revealed twice. Okay, that scared me. Time Walk is a concern, but if I strip them, then they have to gush or lose their land. Don't want that Street Wraith, that's for sure. Gotta figure out how to collapse this. If I strip mine, it just happens, and then they have to play their other land, Time Walk, draw a bunch of cards, then win somehow. Yeah, that's actually is not a very effective strip mine. I think it's still my best play though. Strip the C. Yeah, they just let it go. And can't cycle Street Wraith from exile. Not a thing. Alright, yeah, this is going to be tough. Necropotent's hell of a card. They're down to 7 life though. I imagine they're just going to go to 2. Because if they go to 1, they can't Doomsday. They stopped at 3 life. Okay. That's enough to Force of Will and Doomsday. And they should know right now if they've won the game or not. Oh, that's not true. They can still gush. Discarded Doomsday and Sleight of Hand. All right. Those are gone. They can win with what they've got if they have the Oracle. Here's Mana Floating and Gush. Gotta hope they don't have Oracle, I guess. My only hope here. Yet. God damn it. Okay. Yep. It got me. Turns out, not making the, or I'm gonna look at their deck at least, but I fucked around and found out. Welcome to Vintage, you big idiot. They had to draw exactly Black Lotus or Dark Ritual, or apparently Demonic Tutor for Black Lotus off of wild off the top of the deck. But if I let that happen and I Force of Will, then I win the game and you can just pick them apart with Ragavan. Yep. Got punished by not respecting the Vintage. Yeah, this is just a deck full of normal Doomsday stuff. Force of Negation, Flusterstorm. Yep. Bummer. Did I also miss a chance to Mystical Tutor for Ancestral attack trigger? Re-Ancestral? Was that a line that I had with the Mystical Tutor and that I missed because I was thinking about Ragavan? Ugh. I'm willing to believe many mistakes were made in that game. Okay, they could have Opposition Agent and or Sheoldred after sideboard. I don't want to go totally empty on Swords to Plowshares. But I can go lower on them. I think I can go down 1 Wasteland as well. There's stuff I want to bring in, but not that much stuff I want to take out. Sheoldred existing is such a pain in my ass. Every time I try to play an honest blue deck against a dishonest combo deck. I think either Iconoclast or EI is a cut here. Maybe one of each. Get my Pyroblast in. They can do a lot with just black mana, but their counterplay is blue. Alright, I'm gonna submit this deck. Okay, turn 1 Arcanist again. I'm gonna keep turn 1 Arcanist with Force backup. This plow's pretty bad. Hope they're on Sheoldred. Oh wait, this is Mishra's Bauble, not Mox. I'm off the rails here. Don't know how to change it, but I don't know where the rails are, but I'm not on them. I'm gonna bauble myself. Get some card selection here. There is a Volcanic Island on top that I don't want. I'll fetch maybe that same Volcanic Island and draw Ragavan. Okay, that's something. They have a Preordain. I put a tactical pause on the Preordain, like I was thinking about Pyroblast, and then let it resolve. They bottomed both. Okay, there's the Mox that I thought I had last turn. I can Tundra, Mox, dash Ragavan, then cast Dreadhorde off the trigger, off the treasure. And I might spike something important, like Ancestral Recall. Force of Will, okay. Dreadhorde, get in there. And Ragavan returns to my hand. 1 Force of Will down. Brainstorm, you got it. Cracking their fetch, making moves. Another Preordain. Okay, I'm very happy with that. I was ready for the Dark Ritual. They top-bottomed with Preordain. They draw the card right away, so it's not like Ponder or Brainstorm where they know what their top card is for this Ragavan. Another distressing no trigger off of HA, but I am going to dash again. Enough out targeting Ragavan. Okay, sure. Annoying, but playable. Ragavan's dash trigger goes on the stack. Unfortunately, does not return to my hand from the graveyard. That would be sick. Here's Demonic Tutor, which I can't afford to fight over. They either have the combo piece already and are going for protection, where forcing this loses to the combo, or they have the other thing where they are protected and they just got their combo, in which case they'll just protect that. Okay, that's actually great. Now I have 2 forces for their turn. I can hardcast one and pitchcast the other. Goes a long way in the right direction. Ancestral Recall. Guess I will cast this Force of Negation. That might have been bait, but it's the type of bait spell that you also lose to, so got me. Duress, okay. Well, coast is clear. Get after it. F6, and I am prepared to lose. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. If they have Gush in their hand, I lose right now. Their Ancestral being in exile is nice, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. They've done a lot of sculpting. Okay, the Doomsday pile has been selected. The exiled cards. An Oracle is in exile. Means they have 2. It's pretty standard. And am I dead now? Yep, there's the Gush. I am deceased. Yep, Time Walk into Oracle, Black Lotus. Oh, all for good measure. I guess I'll make them do it, but they have me here. Squeaky clean. GG. Yeah, I messed up that game 1. Like, you can say there was only 4 or 5 hits in their deck. The math is unfair. 95% of the time, I win that. Like, you could say all those things, and they might even be true, but also, you could have made it 0%. Just let Dreadhorde Arcanist get countered and hold up Force of Will against their now empty hand. I had Ragavan. I had a backup threat. I got greedy and tried to push, and I lost for it. And you can't afford to do that in Vintage. On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw for the final round. My hand does not have turn 0 interaction, but I do have Ancestral Recall and a Mox. Snapping it off. Opponent mulled to 5. Are we Bizarre? Are we Oops All Spells? Are we... Oh, we're Initiative. Okay. Sure, that's a deck that mulligans as well. Having on Spirit and sending it. Is that going to be Spirit of the Lab? Well, I drew probably the card I most wanted to draw in my entire deck right now, which was Mox Sapphire, which means I can Ancestral with Reckless Impunity. I can easily get my hand back down to 7. Spirit of the Lab does not have Flash. Wow, you're a Force of Will deck with Drogskull, Captain? I got hoodwinked. Holy shit. Okay. Well, I gave them too much credit. They're literally just playing Spirits. Alrighty. Guess I'll Mishra's Bobble you. And then play Preordain. And then play Mox Ruby and pass the turn. Strip Mine on top of the deck. Disappointing. Well, I have EI that can dig off my Mox in. There's another land. Yeah, this Treasure Cruise is going to hit. Top. And drop the Ruby as well. Okay, off you go. 2 cards in hand. I have white mana and Swords to Plowshares available to me. Things I'm worried about are a Null Rod effect. That would slow me down a bit. They're down to 2 cards in their hand other than the Strip Mine that I know about that I'm not worried about. Okay, they've decided to advance their board instead. Is there some busted Spirit that I have not considered? Alright, just 1/3 flying. That one's fine. Deal. Grip full of lands. I'm going to EI. Lots of cheap spells in the deck. Hard to miss here. Okay. Do I even want Black Lotus at this stage of the game? In Black Lotus in my Lurrus deck is a special kind of horseshit. So yes, I do want Black Lotus. Lotus in my hand. Preordain on the bottom. Exile Rag. And I'll guess this could be a Daze deck. It's possible. Cast Rag. And I don't need to run this Lotus out here. I could Treasure Cruise now. Fetch. Yeah, I'm going to try to cruise now. They're down to one card and it's the Strip Mine. I don't need to really slow down or think about anything now. I'm just going completely ape. Towards the Plowshares. Black Lotus. Make blue. Treasure Cruise. Exile. I'm going to leave Lotus and Ancestral in my graveyard for my various Recursion and Lurrus. Cool. I'm feeling good here. The Fair Creature deck, mulling to 5 and then Force of Willing me. Just nothing left in the tank over there. There's the Strip Mine. I guess if they play Drog Skull Captain here, or some X3 creature with some sort of protection. Nope. Alright, they're just dead. Pyroblast and Lightning Bolt seem relevant here. Dismember. Maybe even Wasteland if I want to go full beatdown mode. Gonna cut my Force of Negations. That's an easy one. In Gitaxian Probe, I may or may not actually care what's in their hand. Though, in my Dreadhorde Arcanist deck, I've made an embarrassing amount of attacks this league with a Dreadhorde Arcanist that did not cast a spell. So, I'm not doing that. I'm not bringing in the Wasteland. I need 3 more cuts here. Been kind of harsh on Iconoclast. This league, haven't played it at all. Guess I'll just shave some Baubles and an Iconoclast. Iconoclast is not going to help me versus the Flying Armada. Ooh, this is risky. It is full of removal, but we've seen Strip Mine in their deck. I'm keeping, though. This Ragavan, Dismember. This is a good start. Opponent's on 6 this time. Otawara. Are you an Aether Vial deck? Where's this going? Black Lotus. Okay, that's going to a pretty good spot. Maelstrom Wanderer. And holding up Rattle Chains. Is that what's going on over there? Okay, I have a backup land, so I'm not just dead here. I think what I want to do is pass with my removal spell up. Cavern of Souls. Didn't have a counter spell anyway. Another Wanderer. That's fine. I guess that's not really fine because it counters this Wanderer. Okay, I'm going to wait until the end step. If they do have Rattle Chains, I don't want to take extra damage from it. Okay, I'll fetch in the end step for the Tundra and just start playing cards out here. I'm going to plow the smaller Wanderer so they gain less life if this resolves, and otherwise they're the same card. Okay, that's gone. Pyroblast and Dismember in my hand. Do I want to deploy the Time Walk now? Is that even good? I think being... when they have Cavern of Souls up, Pyroblast is a lot worse. Yeah, I think I just want to Dismember this creature right now. Okay, the full price here. Okay, and they didn't Rattle Chains me. I'll pass holding up Pyroblast. It's still a removal spell even if it's not a counter spell. I would have liked to sneak Preordain in there. Maybe I should have against this opponent who's dwindling on cards. Might still be gun shy from the previous matchup. The Doomsday, where I just cast my spell and died. Bauble, Preordain, Plow. I'm gonna shuffle all this. I want lands deck. Okay, I'm gonna cast the Preordain. Preordain, come on, lands. Alright, we got the land. Bottom, Force of Will, top, Polluted Delta. Make my land drop and send it. I'm just building up to a point where I can Ragavan plus Time Walk. Then start doing stuff. With the construction of this particular Lurrus deck, you're usually the beatdown, but that's not the case in this matchup, and that's pretty interesting. Okay, fetch. For Volcanic Island. I'm going to Time Walk first. Because if they Force of Will, I can Pyroblast it and take my extra turn. And if they don't, I can Ragavan. They might let this resolve, not realizing I have Ragavan. Okay, they do have the Force. Now I have a serious question, which is, do I want to Pyroblast and play this turn cycle over again with all my mana open? Or do I want to just play Ragavan, leave them at 1 card in hand and chip it? I think I want the extra turn. With Swords to Plowshares in hand, I'm not really worried about the next Spirit, which is the reason I'd hold back Pyroblast. I don't think they're going to pivot onto a combo kill. There's Force of Will that I just bottomed. An awful lot of Moto Bugs this league. I'm going to dash Rag and hold up Plow. Ragavan connected. Eidolon of Rhetoric, okay. That is certainly a 1/4 creature. And I could scroll for Ancestral now. Sure, why not? That is ultimately the plan here. Ancestral and just pull ahead. This Force of Will's dead anyway. I'm not really worried about what I would pitch to it if I could cast it. Supreme Phantom's in play now. He had 1,000 chances to cast that, and this is the first time, so I imagine that was the draw. Plow first, then land, dash Ragavan. I can dance around this Ancestral all day. I'm not in a rush. I have the feeling my opponent's hand doesn't do anything. Ragavan, exiled a Wasteland. Okay, that would have taken me off white. And like Flusterstorm is the one card I'd be slightly bothered by here. I'm just going to pass. These Ragavans are doing enough. I can play around soft permission. No land, no spell. Pass the turn back to me. Yeah, just what you need. Ragavan number 3. Let's dash this dingus. In you go. Kind of hope it gets ambushed in combat. That would be a good use of a Ragavan here. Exiled Cavern of Souls. Okay. And I think I'm ready to Ancestral. I can pay for Flusterstorm. Alright, we're in there with that. And I found an Arcanist. And I get to hold up Plow, passing the turn Arcanist, and Plow Ancestral in my graveyard. Even found a blue card for Force in case there is something forcible that happens. Feels good. Mox Ruby, right on time. Is there a 5-mana spirit that just ends games of Vintage? There probably is. Like Geist Honored Monk, I don't think I can beat here. Cyclave Apparition. That is a spirit. It cannot be countered. See you later, DHA. That's a thing that makes sense. That would have been in their hand for a while. I haven't given them a target for it. I'm happy to slam a Ragavan into this and trade. Get a 2/2 and unlock these 2 legends in my hand. Like drawing 2 cards. I'm going to rag first. See if they want to take this trade. If they don't, I will EI with more mana available. Taking the trade. Got a deal. I get a 2/2 thing, and I unlock my 2 legends in my hand, just like Ancestral Recall. I'm going to EI, though. Okay. Lightning Bolt to my hand? Or do I want Arcanist? No, I want Arcanist. Bolt to the bottom. Exile Bauble. Play Bauble. Tell me what you're doing. You're about to draw Supreme Phantom again. And here is the other Ragavan, which I am going to cast for regular old mana. Dashing it every turn was becoming tiresome. I draw for Bauble. They draw Supreme Phantom, which my Bauble drew an answer to. I think this one's all over but the Crying. We just got to play it out. Okay. I'm going to Red Blast this creature and then attack. In for 4. Rag trigger. Maybe I'll get a creature in their creature deck. Force of Will. Okay. Disappointed. Kind of wanted them to draw that. Here is my Arcanist. It's back. And I'll just continue passing the turn. Could put Lurrus in my hand. I could Brainstorm. There's a lot of things I could do, but there's not really a reason to. And they've finally had enough. A 3/2 positive record, including, you could say punt, you could say slim variance, you could say that those are the same thing, but a mistake against Doomsday left open a window that I didn't need to. We did just get straight up beat by Oops All Spells. Could argue I could have mulliganed in that matchup too, but I kept a force hand with pressure and a cantrip. I don't know. That one I'm not gonna lose sleep over. The Doomsday decision, that was a fuck around and find out in Vintage moment that I'm glad it delivered on camera. It sucks that it was at my expense, but you don't mess around with Vintage. This deck was great though, getting under the format with cards like Ragavan and Dreadhorde Arcanist. We never even reached for Lurrus. I think it was in my hand once and never in play this whole league. Didn't need it. We're just busy casting Ancestral Recall over and over again, pulling ahead with cards. I think these Xerox style decks are great. They're just threats, answers, and cantrips in between to find all your threats and answers. Really hard to argue with this recipe. Getting Pyroblast and Swords of Plowshares in the Jeskai Wedge is nice. This build's not messing around with anything like Lavinia. It's not doing anything cute. Every single card in the deck just kills the opponent, counters their spell, or digs for more of the same. Feels good. I have never played this exact deck before. It's been a while since I played Xerox at all. I made a couple small mistakes and one big one in this league and still waltzed out of there with a positive record. If you're interested in Vintage and you don't feel the need to go completely busted, I know a lot of folks, when they play Vintage, they're like, why would I put Black Lotus in my deck to cast Dreadhorde Arcanist? I want to cast Tinker, which is a fair argument, and I'm generally in that camp. But if you do just want to win matches of Magic and you don't mind if it's flashy when you do it, this is a great type of deck. You get to bring a lot of skills from Modern and Legacy down into Vintage. When you play the style of deck, you don't have to reinvent the magic wheel. Just once again proving that Ragavan plus Expressive Iteration is messed up no matter where it's happening. More, thank you for this opportunity to play this deck. It was a lot of fun. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon and everything else that supports the channel in the video description, and I'll see you next time.